Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, I see friends. Hello, Sadiqa.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining today. Just trying to close some of the boxes here. All right. Thanks again for joining us today for this event. I was trying to live stream it to the Facebook, but there's a technical glitch. So you are lucky because you joined through the Zoom. The good thing it is recorded, so I will upload it for the people on the Facebook and try to resolve the issues. So no worries. Today we will be focusing a new group on this current group. So thanks again for joining. I have my business partner, Paddy, with me. Happy to be sharing this event together. So what we will do over those 3 days, every day we will be covering a topic, a subject to cover, and we will go through steps that this is a system, and Paddy and everyone who's been working with Bob Proctor is following to help us really achieve our goals. Whatever goals you're trying to set and achieve, this is a system that we will be presenting, giving to you the tools that will help you to start strong on 2022. So what I will do, I will be sharing some slides. You can post some questions in the chat box anytime. And at the end, what we will do, we'll open a Q&A for today's topic. Great. So let us start. All right. Okay, so okay, I think this is great. So let's first of all introduce Paddy. The floor is yours, Paddy.
Thank you very much, Mohammad. First of all, I want to thank all of you for coming today. This is our first collaboration together, and it's a very exciting moment for me. Some of you on the call already know me. You know that I have been a coach and of something or another, mainly communication, but all kinds of things for over 50 years now. Last September 12th was my 50th anniversary as a coach. I started when I was just 2. I was very, very young. I have worked with executives and professionals. I still do. From all professions and industries, mainly communication, strategic communication, new rules for leadership. It's a marvelous time right now to be coaching leaders because as we go into this next normal, I don't think it's a new normal. Leadership has changed so much. It's a very, very exciting time to be in the leadership field. I am the founder of Kennedy Communications Studio International, and I am a Procter Gallagher consultant. I'm also very much the proud mother of a 44-year-old son. But before we go any farther, I want to share with you, we have an expression, and I come from Canada, and the First Nations or the Native people in Canada, they refer to God as the creator. And I wish I had the book with me, but I don't. But it's a beautiful book by a man named Richard Wagamese, and he's having a conversation with an elder, an old woman. And he says to old woman, sometimes it feels like creator just isn't listening. And old woman says, creator can do whatever she wants. They call creator a woman. And creator could send us stacks of money or bolts of lightning, but usually she just sends us people. And I have found this to be true. It'll be 4 years in May when I was speaking at a Toastmasters convention in Muscat, Oman, and I came off the stage, and quite often there are a line of people there that are waiting to talk to you and see you. And a man came up to me and presented me with this book, Wallace D. Wallace. that peculiar, because the only other person I've ever discussed the science of getting rich was with Bob Proctor many years ago when I attended the Science of Getting Rich workshops in Los Angeles and in Las Vegas. And then the man disappeared. And many, many times I wondered, who was that man that delivered that book to me? It was just such a memorable but unusual circumstance. Well, advance forward now, and now I'm in the Proctor Gallagher Institute, and my name was on the Facebook page as somebody who was new to the Institute. And this gentleman happened to see my name there. And we have a mutual friend who told me, Paddy, in Dubai, I know somebody who's also doing this Proctor Gallagher Thinking into Results. So, oh, that's nice. I'd like to meet him. And about an hour later, I got a Facebook message from this gentleman who said, do you remember in Oman when I came up to you and I gave you the book, The Science of Getting Rich? You're him. Him is Mohammad. You see, sometimes we just don't know where we're going to get help or guidance or collaboration or partnerships with. But I think the First Nations people of my country are correct. Creator generally sends people. And I am so pleased that Creator sent me Mohammad Sabri. Mr. Mohammad, to you, please.
Thank you, Paddy. I don't know, it's the universe, the Creator, who had organized these meetings. 2016, we met, or maybe 17, I don't recall the date. Then we are meeting again. And when I saw you as part of Proctor Gallagher, I said, I want to partner with you. I didn't know how, I didn't know that you will accept or not, but I said, I'm going 2022 will be a changer for me, so I want to partner with you. So here I am. So what I do, I really help professionals and startups, people who want to start up their own business, to developing a success mindset for their career and business growth through mentorship. This is what I do. So I mentor and advisor for executives and startup companies. I am part of Inner Circle of Bob Proctor and a consultant. I have more than 30 years executive sales leadership. I am a founder of Quantum Results, which is my company. I am a mentor and investor at Labiba. This is a startup company, and I am a proud father. So here I am. I'm here really to help you, to serve you whatever I learned through these years. And with Bob, I'd like to share my experience so people can really benefit it.
May I just say one thing, Mohammad? When Mohammad says that he's in the inner circle of the Proctor Gallagher consultant, as a Proctor Gallagher consultant, it means he's in the top 1% of the consultants around the world. He kind of glosses over it as if it's nothing. It's a tremendous accomplishment. We are in the hands of a master this evening.
Thank you, Paddy. You see, this is when you start working, how they say, I call it when you set a goal and living from the end, which means that you are living that person to become an inner circle. I started living that part. So when I got it, it was normal because I've been living for the past few months that I am in the inner circle. So it's not oh, wow, I'm excited. I'm already there. And this is when we talk about the goals and how the way you need to write it down. This is what I'm going to share with you all today with the help of Paddy with me. So always now, if you look at life, we always have these things. You go this way, you will ask a friend, go that way. No, you should go back and start that thing. No, you should stop, you should think, and so on. So it's like, I call it's like the story of Alice, which many people read, that she asked, would you tell me, please, which way I ought to go from here? So the cat answered, that depends a good deal on where you want to get. So it depends where I want to get. Alice said, I don't much care where I want to go. And this is more than 90% of the people, they don't care much, unfortunately. However, it is in their hand. So what did the cat answer? That doesn't matter which way you go. So you keep going wherever you want to go. So you don't have any destination, you don't have any goals. So whatever you want to do, you want to do. So you will be missing a lot of opportunities. So to start with this one, I thought I'd like to share with you, this is an important skills. Each one should practice and learn it, and it should be, how they say, one of the important skills for your success. So I will stop sharing now, and I will share another screen, which is something, okay, let me just a minute. All right. So I will be sharing the following with you. It's a small video. Please listen carefully to it. This is from Bob Proctor. It's a strong message. This is one of the program. He called it the prosperity program. And so I want you all to hear.
Anyone that has ever studied any of Napoleon Hill's work,
I believe if you don't have any issues with the
decisions. Very, very important subject.
Here's one of the biggest challenges you face in regards to the principle of decision. It sounds like this.
I'm going to do this as soon as I get the money. I'm going to do this as soon as the kids finish school. I'm going to do this as soon as I get the promotion. One idea after another. The decision is not executed. Why is it that approximately 90 or 90% of the population stay there? Well, Hill found out through a survey of over 25,000 men and women who had experienced failure. They experienced it because of lack of decision. That was the major cause of their failure. They weren't making the decision because they couldn't see how it was going to happen. The people that were making the decisions, they didn't see how it was going to happen either. They just knew it would.
You know, anyone that has ever studied any of Napoleon Hill's work knows how important decision is. He wrote an entire chapter on decision in Think and Grow Rich. Decision was one of the principles of success. Very, very important subject. A lot of people don't understand it. We don't teach it in school. You can go right through our educational system without ever learning how to make a decision. And strangely enough, parents wanting to protect their children make their decisions for them, sometimes right into adulthood. So the person never learns how to make a decision. Now, in the very first page of the decision chapter, Napoleon Hill pointed out very clearly that successful people all make decisions very fast, change them very slow, even when they change them at all. And he pointed out the people that have trouble with success make decisions very slow and then change them fast and often. There's something about decision we should understand, and I think it's brought right to the surface in the story of Henry Ford and his famous V8 engine. You see, when Ford decided that he was going to produce his famous V8 engine, he chose to build the engine, the whole 8 cylinders, in one block. He called all his engineers and he told them that he wanted them to lay out a plan on how this could be done. Write it all out for him. So the engineers did that. They come back and they told him, to a man, they all complete agreement, it was impossible. This could not be done. I loved Ford's response. He said, do it anyway. Now think of that. Here's a group of engineers. They've laid out the plan on putting 8 cylinders in one block. They said it was impossible, it couldn't be done. And Ford said, do it anyway. Now, why would he say that? Now, as the story goes, they went away and they worked on it and they come back, same conclusion. It couldn't be done. He said, do it anyway. Now, think about this for a moment. The engineers were employed by Ford. He was the one that was signing the checks. He said, do it anyway. Were they going to argue with the man? So it went away and they keep working on it. But you know and I know that he did put the 8 cylinders in one block. You see, the only prerequisite to making a decision is, do you want to? As you study and as you get into all of Napoleon Hill's work, you will know that all these great achievers, like Edison, like Ford, they built the image of what they wanted in their mind. They became totally relaxed. They got that image very clear in their mind. What they were really doing was turning it over to infinite intelligence. And infinite intelligence then would feed the answers back to them. Now, they may not have been able to articulate exactly what was happening. We're going way back 50, 75 years. Today, we know that. At least some of us know it. Not everyone knows it. When you go to make a decision, think of Ford and his 8 cylinders in one block. The wise ones couldn't be done. All the engineers couldn't be done. He said, do it anyway. You don't have to know how to make it happen. You just have to know you're going to make it happen. So when you make a decision, bang, that's it, and there's no going back. You don't change the decision. You may change the plan, which we'll talk about later, but not the decision. Be decisive. Make your decisions fast, change them very slow, if and when you change them at all. That is what Napoleon Hill found all the successful people did. You are on a program of success. You do it too.
The great decisions, which served as the foundation of civilization, were reached by assuming great risks, which often meant the possibility of death. Socrates' decision to drink the cup of poison rather than compromise his personal belief was a decision of courage. It turned time ahead 1,000 years and gave to people then unborn the right to freedom of thought and of speech. Get out your notebook. Write decision in capitals at the top of the page.
So what do you think, Paddy?
Well, it's true. Decision. A lot of people just can't make decisions. And it's true what he says, that people who Napoleon Hill found it, I've experienced it myself in my own life. Whenever I'm really slow to make a decision and I change it a bunch of times, that project never flies. But when I take that courage to make a decision right now, knowing that if it's a bad decision, I can change it later. But to just make the decision and make the commitment and be really clear, because I think the real nugget of what he says in that is you don't have to know how you're going to do it. You just have to know what. Because I think we've all experienced that we make a decision, we're going to pursue something that we want. And before you know it, people come to help you. You always get the resources. Have you ever noticed you make a decision about something and you say, well, I don't know how I'm going to afford it, but I'm going to do it. And the next thing you know, money comes that you weren't even expecting. The universe, God, the creator, whatever force, intelligence that we want to call it, has the way of having our backs when we take the courage to make that decision. But if you're sitting on the fence, it's as if the great creator or the great energy cannot find you. It has to find you out there in the field playing. You can't be sitting over here going, yeah, I don't know. It's been my experience. And I think what holds us up is, well, how is that going to work? Mary Morrissey, who's Bob's companion and colleague, says, how is not your business? Just what?
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Paddy. The reason also for me sharing this video, because this one, the decision, is the life changer for me to become in the inner circle. I wasn't sure. I was hearing, Bob, that you don't need to think about the how. And for me as an engineer, people who's an engineer knows we are so analytical. We want to see it before we believe it. It works the other way. You have to believe it in order to see it. So at that time, I remember that was 2019 in Toronto. It was September. At that day, I was surrendering to the process. I took a decision that I want to work with Bob. I want to be to that one. I don't know how. No, I don't know what is my capabilities. And it was like a magic. Everything was putting in the right place. In that event, I made about how would I say, in one day, from a financial point of view, from a money, what I was making in a month. It was shocking for me. Oh, that's what Bob meant when I will turn your annual income to monthly income, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it is happening. I don't need to know the how. The how will start supporting you. As you said, I mean, like when I said, I want to partner with Paddy because this is what I love. I don't know how. I don't know if some people will be supporting me or not. I'll just surrender, take a decision because this is what I want. So I will share additional slides for us, and then at the end, we will have more discussion about this topic. So now, because as we proceeding, I want you, just a minute. All right. So I want to ask you, and this is to set the right intention as we start. What do you really want? So you need to be asking yourself. I noticed some people who register, they shared what they want, which are some people financial freedom, others want a healthy weight, others want a 10x growth. Some people talking about clients, people disciplined and life at 360, and so on. There were many interesting goals. However, so it's important that you should be clear what you want. And as we go, you will learn at the end that how you need to select the goal and write it in the right way in order to start knowing the how, taking the decisions and starting the how. Then you need to ask, why are you here? Are you here just to learn, or are you here to act? Because it's not about the knowledge. This knowledge, you can learn it from every place. It is about taking the decisions and start working towards your goal. It's all about this. And this is how it will make a huge difference for each one of us. So when I look on people, normally, they have these three lifestyle desires. Each one, like me, I want to be free of any financial concerns. Others will say, I want to wake up every morning enthused about how I am going to spend my day. So you're so excited, you wake up in the morning, so excited what you're going to do. This is what you care more about. Others, they said, I'd like to enjoy daily relationship with others who are upbeat, enthusiastic, and creatively productive. So if I want to ask you, are you living like this today? And be honest with yourself. Are you really living like this today? If not, why not? What is holding you back? Why some people are able to live like this and you still not? So this is something you need really to reflect and look inside. These are some of the beliefs, and it is important to know and learn about our beliefs, how we are raised, because some of those beliefs are really without thinking or unconsciously is holding us back. So most of us, we raise, go to university, you do this investment, don't worry, your parents will take care, you get good grades, then you will get a secure job. I did this one, but it did not work like this with me. I was an A student, I did a master's degree, blah, blah, but it's not working like this. So what the heck is going on? Then if you work hard, you may get a lot of money. I was a workaholic, for example, for me, and maybe Paddy can share some of hers. But it didn't make sense. I did not get that extra money I was hoping. Or this is one of the beliefs before I start working in this business, in the coaching business, that you cannot start a business while you are working in your current job. And that was a belief holding me for a while till I started this coaching business while I am in a corporate job. then if you start a business while in a job, you will lose work-life balance. This is a myth. This is not true. However, these are the beliefs many people. I saw some of the people, they were saying, I am overloaded, I don't have time, blah, blah, and so on. So they're not taking any actions. They're not moving ahead. And I understand, because it's a belief. It's not correct, but it's a belief. And this is how we're taking decisions and moving ahead in our day. So like these beliefs, your fear of trying, change, and failure, because parents had told you, you go to college, secure a job, work in a job till you retired, then wait the time till you pass away. This is how most of the people. So I am afraid to start my own business or trying to get out of my comfort zone. Your environment has more power over your willpower. So you will start hearing people. I know, for example, I've been discussing with one of my clients. He is listening to each person. He is asking the same questions to 10 people every day. And based on their feedback, he's taking the decisions. It's not the other way. Hey, come on. You have the answer. We all have these answers. Frustration and anxiety. And then you start running with these challenges. You don't have, you have lack of focus, lack of implementation, lack of commitment, lack of mentorship, and lack of guidance and support, because you don't know what is happening and how life should be running the right way for you. So before I start, maybe if Paddy, you'd like to share any of the things, share your experience, because you are more, for me, you're like a master of 50 years experience. So I'd like really to hear your comments. And
well, thank you, Mohammad. You know, I look back now, and I'm actually very fortunate, because I don't have the master's degree. I am a self-educated person. I started coaching 50 years ago. I was coaching in the field of figure skating as an athletic coach. I trained, as you will hear a little bit later on, I trained all my young life to become an Olympic athlete. I didn't really go to school that much. From grade 7 on, I trained every afternoon, and I went to school half days. Back in the 60s, when I was training, my dear mom, who was a single mom, she was paying $10 an hour for my skating lessons. That was back in the 60s. Now, so I always believed I had a great career. In the 1960s, to be making $10 an hour was like making, you know, $1,000 an hour pretty much now. Of course, no one foresaw that I was going to be disabled and was not going to be able to continue in that beautiful career. But so I've been very fortunate in the sense that I have always had to bank on myself and believe in myself. And I was an entrepreneur when we didn't even use that fancy word from the French language. We were just freelancers or self-employed, and you know, we didn't get any benefits with our income tax or anything like that, because you're ne'er-do-wells. You could lay yourself off at any time. But I had my other challenges. What these points that Mohammad has just made, what they are speaking to, is exactly what we're going to talk to you about tonight and the next 2 nights. You know, a lot of what holds us back is this subconscious way of thinking, these things that we've been taught all our lives. You can't do that. Like, for example, my dear late brother, who was my big brother and was one of my favorite people, was like, Paddy, you're never going to go anywhere without any of this formal education. You need to have formal education. Well, when you start working for yourself at 19 and you keep working for this is a formal education. This is called the School of Hard Knocks. You learn on your feet. And you have to learn to believe in yourself. You have to have courage. All of these are called paradigms. You can't do it. You don't have enough money. I remember when I was working in New York and my dear mom got hit by a car back in the West Coast of Canada, and she was 83 and a half. She was on her way to her dancing class. I had a tremendous mother. And she got hit by a car, and every bone from her breastbone down, all the bones were broken. So I went to take care of her. She was living in this little sleepy town called Victoria, British Columbia. I mean, I went from the city that never sleeps to the city that never wakes up. I mean, Victoria, we say it's for the newlyweds and the nearly deads. I mean, there's no international business there. And I remember saying to my big brother, who was the CEO of the big mining company, I'm going to do the same thing I was doing in New York. I'm going to do it on Skype. This was in 2008. It's like, you're crazy. That's never going to, what executive is going to take his coaching on Skype? I said, well, why wouldn't they? Now they don't have to go to New York. Look at all the money they're saving. They can be in the comfort of their own home. Everybody, even the bank, wouldn't loan me a penny because they said, you're crazy. But I somehow, because I've been an entrepreneur all my life, I had to believe in myself. And I remember one day, the day my website went live and my mom was over at my place for dinner. We went to the beautiful park across the street and there she was on her walker. And it was, the sun had just set. And I said, Mom, up there somewhere is a little star called Kennedy Communication Studio. Right now, no one can see it. And she said, but dear, one day the whole world will see it. And she was right. And I put my money with my mother and all the people that said it can never happen. You've got to have a courage. You've got to know what you want. And then when you get all those voices that say, you can't do that. Who do you think you are? You're stupid. You don't have any formal education. Bob Proctor's got 2 months of high school. And he's one of the most successful people I know. He's the guru of this kind of training. 60 years now, he's been doing this kind of training. You have, we, not you, because I'm part of this too. We all have to think for ourselves. We have to think with our hearts, and we have to have courage. And that's why the question, what do you want? I feel like the Spice Girls. What do you want? What do you really, really want? I mean, I'm too old for the Spice Girls, but I remember that song from the 1980s. But that's the question. What do you really, really, really want? And if you love yourself enough, and we're going to work on this in the next couple of days, if you can build that self-image where you go, I don't care what they say, I know I can do it. If you can believe in yourself, you can beat these challenges. Bob Proctor, Mohammad, me, we're not special. We're just people who kept our focus, who made a decision and went for it.
Thank you. Thank you, Paddy. Very, very fruitful and informative. Appreciate that. And inspiring, really. So now I will start with the first step, which is what we call the GPS, is finding a clear goal. And here, the clearer you are about your goals, the more efficient and effective you will be. I don't know how much time I need to repeat this one because I did not believe it till I start taking and buying it. And that lady in the picture, that was one of my clients. Her story is so inspiring for me because I've been able to help her really to change her life. She's a smart lady, an A student, finished her master's degree, but she was struggling to do anything in her life because of one thing. She wanted to do everything all at the same time. Her name is Mariam. I told her, Mariam, it doesn't work like that one. And this is how we're going to explain to you how to select the goals. So we start narrowing the goals she wanted. And I told her, just start with this one. She was struggling for almost a year to find a job. Within 2 weeks, she found a job. And in that job, she never worked. In that job, she managed to be within 3 months, #1 salesperson in that organization. I was shocked about the results she was getting, simply because she was so clear about what does she want. And this is very important in anything. I see many has shared what they are looking for, but unless you are so clear what do you want, you will still be confused. You're not able to move ahead. You will be taking a step forward, then 2 steps back, and so on. So you will not achieve anything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you want to share something?
No, I just, I have beside me, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, Not really. It's my little goal book. It's a notebook, and every day, I write one page of what I want. Because you've got to write it down. You can't just think about it. That's how you get clear. You just keep writing it down every day. What I want, what I want.
And this is really very, very important because it will make a huge difference in your life and you start moving forward.
Yeah.
So now when we talk about goals, it is, people think about goals that I want to achieve something. It's not about the achieving something you already did, like I want to buy a car, I want to have another degree. It's about that something you never done before, something like extreme, that you're an employee for 30 years, you want to start your own business. This is something you've never done before. You want to write a book that you never done before, and so on. So there are many goals that you never done before. And here it's important to understand a goal is designed to help you grow. It causes you to draw something from yourself that you didn't even know was there. And we will be sharing some of our own experience, me and Paddy, about how that setting a goal for something we never done before had drawn many things in ourselves that we thought, oh my God, I can do this. I didn't believe that earlier before setting that goal, I can achieve it. And that goal will inspire you and is going to have to come from inside. This is when I said, you want to wake up every day excited how you're going to spend that day, rather than when you wake up on the day to see, oh my God, I hope it will pass very fast. It's another miserable day. No, you don't want to do it. You want to set a goal that really inspires you, and every day you're willing to work for that goal. Then this is, I will go too fast. So there's, we call it 3 types of goals. A type goal, doing something you already know how to do it. You have a college degree, you want to get another college degree. You buy a car, you want to buy another car. You have a house, you bought another house, and so on. This is something you already, there is no inspiration in that one. B type goal, you think, yeah, you can do it. If I do small tweaks, I can get small resources. This is, we call the B type goal. When we are here talking about, it is what we call a C-type goal. It is your wants. What do you really, really want? It should come from your fantasies and originated through effective use of imagination. We will elaborate, as we said, more about these. So before elaborating on the C-type goal, I want to Paddy to share, because you shared with me your Olympics story, and I call it, this is a C-type goal because you never did it. So I'd like maybe to share your experience about that goal.
Thank you, Mohammad. Yes, sometimes achieving the goal is nice, but one thing that we know, goals are meant for us to grow, and goals are always about the journey, not so much the destination. When I was a little girl at the age of 10, I don't know where I got the idea, but I got the idea that I'm going to go to the Olympics as a figure skater. I mean, Canada, we say, you know, kids are born with skates on their feet. And so I thought, okay, I figured it out that 1972, the Olympics were in Sapporo, Japan, and I was going to be on that team. And that began 8 years of very rigorous training. I was up every morning at 4 o'clock to be on the ice by 5 o'clock. And I skated from 5 o'clock till 8:30. Then I ran off to school. Then I came back at lunchtime and I skated for another hour. And then in those early days when I was still going to school full time, I went back to school. And then right after school, I ran back to the rink and I skated for another couple of hours. And as I got up higher and higher in the levels, up towards the senior level, which is the world level competition level, that's when I skated more and went to school less. I had tutors, but skating was where it was at. And I managed to get highly qualified. I'm what's called a triple gold medalist in the sport. In the old system, there's only about 50 of us actually in the world, but I had this goal. I had a head injury. I lost my coordination. I had a blood clot on my brain. They said, you're never going to skate again. I skated again. I had a goal. I had a reason to get up when I was a kid. Everybody would say, don't invite Paddy to the party because she's got to go skating in the morning. And I did. I had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. My mom would tell you all she had to do was just rattle my feet, my shoes on the floor, and I was jump out of bed. So it came 1971. It was the trials for the 72 Olympics, and I was all ready, and I had moved to Vancouver from my home in Alberta, and I was training 8 hours a day on the ice, an hour and a half a day, either one day ballet, the next day gymnastics, and then 50 laps in the pool every night. It came to the actual trials, and there was a judge from a city not far from where I had grown up, and she didn't like my coach, and she placed me second last. And I missed the Olympics by 1/10 of a point. And everybody was heartbroken and everybody was crying. And there's another part of the story that my body was actually breaking down from all of this training. But, you know, I never cried and I never felt bad about that. I was disappointed, but I always knew, first of all, we know that in that sport, it builds character. You always have your marks put up in front of the whole world to see. So it had, over the many years, it had built character. But the thing is about that type C goal, even though I didn't accomplish it, I accomplished so many more things. And the reason why I was able to build my business over the last 50 years from the age of 19, there were no mentors. Who had a mentor? We didn't even know what a mentor was back then. You just jumped in and away you went. And the reason I was able to do it is because from these goals bring out something in us that we didn't even know was there. And I know myself, I know I am a dedicated, disciplined woman. I am tenacious. I don't give up. If I see it and I think I can do it, nobody's going to stop me. And these are the things. So maybe Bob says often, it's not so much the achieving. We are goal-oriented beings. That's our purpose. If we don't have goals, what are we? We're just sitting around doing nothing. And so I really want to encourage you. Yes, we want to accomplish the goal. Of course we do. We all do. But there's a lot more to setting these goals than just accomplishing. It's meeting yourself repeatedly along the way. And every time you move again towards that goal, you find another part of yourself that you didn't even know was there. And this is the fun. This is the fun of life. This is what gets you out of bed in the morning, excited for the day. It's not always, and I mean, I'm a goal achiever, honestly. I love to achieve because then I want to go on to the next one. But I wanted to share that story with you because goals are meant to help us grow. As Marianne Williamson, the great American writer, says, we are born to manifest the glory of God. And when we choose these goals that require so much of us, that require us to be more, to go more than we thought was possible, we grow and we become somebody that we never, maybe we saw maybe in our dreams, but we begin to live a life that we love. And we begin to love ourselves because we know that we have conquered many things, maybe didn't achieve the goal, but I wouldn't give back one day of all of those 8 years of training. I wouldn't even give it back to the judge who took me off the team. I still would say thank you very much because I had the opportunity to find out who is Paddy Kennedy. And I liked her.
Thank you, Paddy, for sharing. Very inspiring. I really like it every time you share it with me. Because when I look at it and been working, you know, with a lot of successful people, I can tell what exactly you did to make it happen. Now I can help really analyze what people are doing differently to make them successful, what others are not doing, that they are, unfortunately, they're not able to achieve their goals. I will share my own story, will not take long. For me, I put my goals both on a goal card and a vision board. And this is how I teach people when I work with them over 6 months. Me and Paddy, this is what we are also planning to do, a group coaching for people. So I put one on the goal card and something on a vision board. And the vision board, I will show you my vision board. I normally put it and forget about it from time to time. I look at it. I keep my vision board on my phone. Maybe it's not clear, but this is how is my vision board, something just to remind me. So the reason I bringing up now my vision board, because before 2 weeks, I was traveling in India. Then while I was traveling on the airplane, I will give you the examples. Immediately I look on my vision board and I was shocked. I said, what? This is really, really working. So I will share with you now my vision board. And to be honest, I was really blown away. So now this is my vision board. So I was visioning that I need a house, my own house with a nice view, that I have my own office. I want to travel on a business class. I want to run a marathon and other things. So when I was traveling to India, and this is what I was looking on this vision board. You see, I managed to run a half marathon. I am that time so I am now 55. This was my first half marathon before a couple of years. So it happens before 2 years where I managed to run the first half marathon. I never ran in my life. I never tried it. So I fully understand and appreciate what happens with Paddy once she was committed, disciplined in doing certain things every day till she got her goal. And so it works for me. Then that pictures I showed earlier and this one, this is my new house. This is where I'm running right now, my Zoom call. And this is the place I imagined that I want to have it. Then when I look on that business class, this is the day, this is the picture I was traveling in a private jet in India. And this is, oh my God, I said, what the heck? This thing is really working. It's so simple, easy. People cannot believe it till they start seeing it. So I had to believe it in order to see it, because I was believing the process. It is working every time, no doubt. It's like a science. And this is what the book I shared with it, or Paddy shared earlier. I gave her a gift, which is the science of getting rich. It's a science. So now my question for you, really, what is your goal? Is it clear for you what you want to achieve in 2022? So something needed to think about it. Here, this is something maybe some people already saw it, but I love it. Because normally when I started a goal, and Paddy and every one of us, we at the beginning, we are a beginner, we get excited, confidence, and we said, yes, I'm going to do it. It's so easy. Then there's more things are coming to our mind. So it takes us some struggle up and down, but you need to keep going. Then with some time, you will see, trust me, it is complicated, but I know my limitations and learn with every iteration, because it's not a straight line. There's an ups and downs, but you will achieve it. Trust me. So what is your goal? Now we will do a small exercise, which will take a few minutes from you, but you can continue after the event. And simply selecting a goal is not a big deal. We are sometimes, with our human mind, we think in order to be successful, things should be complicated. And it is the other way. It should be so simple and easy, but clear what you want. So I want you just to make like a shopping list. Write down all what you like to achieve in 1 year. For example, I want to set up my own company. I want to buy a new house. I want to travel to this place, and just put as much as you can. So I will give you 2 to 3 minutes. Just jot down these and have it ready, because there's something after that I will ask you. So I will give you just 1 or 2 minutes to do it.
And may I add, use your imagination as if you're a child. It doesn't have to be reasonable. Just anything in the world that you would like, write it down. The how is not important.
Now, what I want from you, maybe after the meeting, really try to find a quiet place and do the exercise again. Just jot down everything you want. You don't need any distractions. Just use your imagination, as Paddy said, and write down. Don't think about the how. Just write down what things come to your mind. Once you do this exercise, I want you to look on the list and sort down all items by importance. For example, you have 10 or 20, just sort them down by importance. So for example, you want to set up your own company. I want to write a book. What else? I want to buy a new house, and so on. So for you, which is more important? Maybe you said writing a book. So you put it number 1, buying a house number 2, then setting up number 3. Just sort them down by importance. Once you're done with these, simply pick the first and second goal from the list. Don't pick 10 goals. Pick just 1 or 2. You can make one is professional, other personal. Paddy, you'd like to share something?
I think, it's a good idea to have one personal, one professional. We call this a worthy ideal. A goal, pick big goals, goals that will make you, that are worthy of who you really are, goals that will bring out the very best in you, because it's not always about achieving as much as it is growing into that person that maybe you've only seen in your dreams. If you can see it, you can do it.
True. So anyone like to share his C-type goals? Feel free, you can share it on the chat, if anyone. And as said, be wild, have that worthy idea, something you never done before. All right, so to go next. Now what I want from you Now, once you select your goal, you need to write it in present tense. And you see yourself in position of whatever it is you want. So you write your personal and professional goal on your goal card. You can write down, I'm so happy and grateful now that I have my own consulting coaching business where I am helping, serving those clients, blah, blah, whatever that business, and it is generating this much of income. So you write it as it is happening. Like Paddy, she has running her own coaching, for example, for the communication business now. So this is how, if people ask her, yeah, I'm so happy and grateful, I'm running my communication business, and it is, I have this much of clients, blah, blah, and it's generating this much of money. It is happening. And for you, this is the same thing. You write down the future in present tense. It is so important, and this is what we will talk about the next few days, about the subconscious mind, how it starts understanding only the present tense, not the future. It should be present tense. When you talk also about financial freedom, you should be clear. How much is it financial freedom? I'll give you $1 more. This is more money, or it is a $1 million or 100,000. So should be clear and specific of what you want. Simply, this is what we are sharing, and I'd like to open now the floor for questions. Maybe we'll have 5 minutes. If not, we can continue later, and I can share people who can reach me through emails or Paddy anytime. Feel free to ask any questions for us. So anyone like to share, ask a questions, have a comments, or Paddy, if you want to have anything before we open the floor for questions.
Well, I want to hear from our participants first. And if nobody wants to share, then I want to share a story to maybe encourage you all to share a story.
Paddy, this is Rahman from Saudi Arabia.
Hello, my dear.
Always a pleasure to connect with you, Paddy, and thank you for introducing us to Mohammed. Very, very inspiring stories so far. And this is what I'm here for, really, because I am at a big milestone in my life where I'll be retiring next year from a job that I've been doing for over 21, 22 years by then. So, you know, I'm doing a lot of thinking about where I now go and find my area of greatness. And as you know, Paddy, from our interactions, it's also in the area of coaching and presentation skills training, because that's what I do. I facilitate for a living. So it's very inspiring to hear your story and your move to Dubai. And so keep on inspiring, Paddy. And I'm sure I have lots and lots of questions for you, but I shall be attending the next couple of days. Looking forward to more inspiration. So thank you for this.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
I have a question, please. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Can I ask a question now, or should I ask
Please.
it later better?
Now
Okay,
it's fine.
so I've been following Bob Proctor and his teachings and so many other great leaders. And I'm a Muslim, and at first when I heard about this concept of we are what we think about and all, I didn't believe it up until I turned to Quran and I saw everything like written so clearly, you know, and I couldn't understand Quran before actually I hear all these materials from other people like yourself, Mohammad, and Bob Proctor. So now I'm a believer, and ever since I started following these things and listening to these videos, things started shifting in my life in a good way. Thank God. I was extremely in debt, and now it's just subconsciously. I didn't even try it. Like my mind started working differently, you know, and I started seeing all these possibilities. Anyways, my question is, I know that we need to think into results, So I've been doing these things subconsciously when I was, you know, listening to this material over and over, and things started to shift for me. Only because things started to shift for me, I started to want to do this consciously now. And now when I started to do it consciously, like writing my goal and listening to all of you telling me like, you need to think as if it already happened, you know? I'm starting to see this gap now, and just like trying to force myself to think every morning, like, I'm so happy and grateful now that I am generating 3 times my income, la, 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 you know, and reciting all these words. And of course, I'm praying and doing all this work as well. And I'm a believer of the generous God that we have. But I still have this, you know, like a little bit of confusion. How do I do it? Like, I have my vision board, I have all these things. Like, is there like a simpler way to just do it? Or, you know, like I'm confused, because sometimes they say ignorance is a bliss, and I've been doing these things, you know, subconsciously. But now that I'm learning more, the more I know, the more I realize that I don't know, and I'm getting more, you know. So what's your advice for me? Because I have this clear vision of myself resigning my work, and I've decided, like, no matter what, I'm going to resign before 2020 June. And I made that decision, and I have this dream of creating my fashion business and all. But then I want to know, how do you, like, you know, the step by step, how do I do these things, you know? Do you understand what I mean? Okay, so that's my question really. Like, the more I know, the more I find obstacles in my way, and my paradigm comes in, and all these things come in.
Thank you. Thank you. You want me to answer, Paddy? Or
Go ahead, go ahead.
all right. And now this is a problem for many people when they write their goals. They miss an important thing when we said live in the end. And to live in the end, you need to bring the emotions. So if I ask you that you put a goal of 135,000, so what are you going to do with that money? Maybe you said, I'll be buying a car, maybe spending on my friends. Okay, I said, all right, you're spending on your friends. Tell me, how do they look like, your friends? Are they smiling? Are they angry? No, you start telling me more emotions. So you go more on the end, getting the feeling of the joy you will be having. And this is very important when you live from the end. You see yourself, you're in position. So I'm really enjoying it. I already having it. And there's a nice video for people who'd like to see living from the end for Neville Goddard, where his story with Abdullah, where he said, hey, I want to go to Barbados. And he said, you are in Barbados. So in a way that if you have it, so you still start. So that guy is in New York, he want to go to another city. He said, you are in that other city, so you need to start living. You are in that city, you are walking, smiling, smelling, saying hello to the friends and so on, because you are already there in the mind. And this is how to bring it. And then there's more details we teach in our thinking into results, how to bring these and make sure that you're covering. I'm just highlighting one part of it, but this will be helpful for you. Important when you live from the end is to bring the feeling.
You see, Mohammed is absolutely right there. It's a very good exercise, and you could do that after you decide what are your main goals, your big goals that are going to bring out the best in you. Sit down and write in the present tense, who are you once you have accomplished those goals? What do you look like? What does your body language look like? What does the smile on your face look like? Where are you living? And bring yourself from here to the finished product once that goal has been accomplished. Because what this does when you get into overthinking or doubting or all of those things that you're doing because you're human, and it's very easy to get into that. And if we can just go back to seeing ourselves as who we will be when we have accomplished this, what this does is this is where the science of this whole work comes in, because when you see yourself and you get emotionally attached to it, as Mohammad says, how does it feel? What do you look like? What is a smile on your face? How are your friends? How is everybody looking, feeling? What's it like? This raises your vibration. This is what raises the way you feel. You begin to feel more positively. Now, this is where when Einstein said, this is not philosophy, this is physics, that when we raise our vibration, because everything on this universe is vibrating all the time, and when we raise our frequency to that higher level, then we begin to attract that. Many people call it the law of attraction, but that's the secondary law. It's really the law of vibration. So when you see yourself having accomplished that, as Mohammad has so rightly suggested, it actually raises your vibration. And at that point, the universe, God, whichever you want to call it, will match that vibration. If you want to watch a gardening show, you cannot tune into CNN. You've got to match the frequencies. So when you get into that overthinking, or as we all do, well, how's this is never going to work. How's that? There's paradigms. We'll be talking about that tomorrow night. I want you just to practice, let it go. We don't know how it's going to work. Our job is to raise our frequencies, our vibration, our thinking to such a level of positivity that that's what we are in fact resonating with and attracting. That's why it's really the law of vibration, with the law of attraction being a secondary component of that more important law. And this is where it does come into science, because, you know, I'm okay, I admitted that I'm a figure skater. I'm not really a PhD in physics, but I'm going to stand with Einstein on this one. I believe it's science.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. And we're here for you. We're always here for you to encourage you along, because we will believe in you. You can borrow our belief. If you're lacking in your belief, you can borrow our belief.
Thank you so much to you both. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Laura.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I want to carry on what Paddy was saying. I have interacted earlier with Paddy. Then from Paddy, I interacted with Mohammad. And I realized that discussing with them and absorbing their knowledge and teaching, that confirmed that I was on the right path. I've seen Bob videos and so on, and I say, okay, let me try with one main goal. And this goal was and is to be to achieve some success in my new professional orientation. And also believe on what Einstein was saying. I realized that, yes, to develop my business, I have to do some specific action, lead generation, sales, whatever. But I also realized by providing the same positive energy to people, I don't need to ask them for business. It comes straight away. And that helped me to understand that what exactly is to build and to think about a goal, which is not only an idea, but it's a mind attitude, and also bringing positive thinking and to make sure that, yes, the law of attraction will come. It was very difficult for me to get out the negative thinking, because the more negative I was thinking, the more negative thing was happening. You know, I didn't want to hear about somebody, but I keep thinking about the person. Guess what? The phone is ringing and this person is calling me and this is it. So I say, if we walk on the negative way, let's try the positive way. And it does work. Yes, defining your goal, creating the positive environment, positive thinking. This is what I understood. It's a inner loop that will feed itself and to make you progress. And I've been close to both individual, Paddy and Mohammad. I'm quite sure I will be able to fine tune and it will become some kind of automatic thinking, whatever thing that I want to achieve. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think, Vega, you want to ask a question?
Hi, Mohammad. Hi, Paddy.
Hi, Beckham.
It's going to be midnight here, but I would like to be very transparent and share a bit of my story as to why I joined the webinar tonight, with the hope that I get the right direction to the right destination. I hope that will be okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I befriended Paddy on Facebook, and we became friends, and we started posting it to each other. And when this advertisement came out on GPS to 2022 success, I felt that was my call. You know, that was my call, because somehow or other the word GPS, some sort like got related when you take a car, or you take a Grab, you take a Uber to go to somewhere and you reach that place. And you know, sometimes I wonder these Grab drivers or Uber drivers will take a long distance, the other way around. And I will ask them, why aren't you following the shortest route? Then they will reply, we are avoiding the jam. We are avoiding the traffic jam so that you can get there on the certain time. So that triggered me, and that is the reason why I registered for the webinar tonight. All right, just a little bit about myself. You know, I lost a $1 million business in 2019. And following that, I lost my brother, I lost my husband, and my son had a double stroke. So all that pulled me down for the last 3 years. But this year, 2022, on New Year, I told myself, no, I'm not going to let 2022, bog me down. I'm going to be somebody again. I'm going to be what I was. So that is where I keep reading your post, Paddy, every day. And I also post a positive post in all the social media platforms. Then when Mohammad said that there's this GPS and you should, do register, I was very happy. Okay, I procrastinated a lot. I really procrastinated a lot. And just to share with all of you, I wrote this book.
Never give up.
I wrote this book in 2019. Never give up. You know, with Jerry Robert with Black Card Books. But till today, my book is not published because I've always procrastinated. Next year, you know. So this year, that is my ultimate goal. You know, this is my ultimate goal. And I think one of your questions, Mohammad, is why I'm joining this webinar tonight is to have financial freedom. You know, so I would like to share all the failures and challenges that I faced throughout the 3 to 4 years, which is in my book, and do my goal setting these 3 days, today, tomorrow, and day after, and direct myself towards where I want to be. The reason being, I'm going to be 64 this year. I'm not young, and I'm the sole breadwinner of my family. So when I decide to do something, I pull my family along with me. And if I fall, everyone in the family falls. So I have hope by these 3 days will help me to do my goal setting properly and also uplift my family to where they want to be. That's what I'm hoping for. I hope it's okay to share with you.
It's absolutely fine to share that.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And
your stories are very inspiring.
Yeah, thank you really for your transparency.
Thank you.
I want you, maybe if you look on the internet, there is a person called they call him W. Mitchell. He has a nice story. I will make it short in 1 minute. It's a long story. This guy was young. He was a salesperson. Then he liked motorbikes. Then he had an accident where fire was everywhere for some reason. Then he had a burn every side of his body. Spent 6 months in the hospital, then came back and started working. After 2 years, he's a guy who would like to work to fly airplanes. Then again, while he's trying those small airplanes with his friends, he felt there is something wrong. He asked them to jump out, and then the plane has fallen where he had spinal cord issues and he was not able to work. That guy continued his life. He opened a radio station. Then he went to election to be a mayor. He won, and now he's a motivational speaker. The reporter asked him a question. This quote is really always, I remind myself, which is really important. He asked him, hey, Mitchell, tell me, this is your story. What the heck, how you managed to go all this way? He said, it is not important what happened to you. And this is for all of us. It doesn't matter where you are in their life. It's not important. What is important, more important, is how you handle it, how you deal with it.
Yeah.
And this is a huge difference. Each one has ups and downs. We're not, I mean, when I share my story or Paddy, doesn't mean that my life is going, I have my own issues, my own struggle, all right? Then, but I come, it is how I deal with these situations and keep going. Yeah, Paddy.
Well, it's true. You know, it's also what Laurent was saying, so much of how we think. If we think in a positive, we move in the positive. If we think in the negative, that's exactly what we become. I agree with everything that Mohammad has said. It's really not what has happened to us. And Bob talks about this a lot, that we tend to think that external circumstances determine what's going to happen in our lives. And like you, Begum, I lost my husband, my mom, and my brother all in a very short period of time. And I thought, I'm never going to be able to do this. I'm never going to be able to pull it together. My brother had been, as I said, a CEO, my doubting brother. His famous words were, Paddy, you're such an idiot. I mean, I heard it all the time because I always had big ideas. And you go, Paddy, you're such an idiot. Anyway, they're never going to have. But he decided that he was going to leave his company as the CEO and join me because one of my clients in Saudi Arabia had suggested that I bring my work to the Middle East. And my brother, Greg, said, well, I'll come with you. And so he left his company and we were starting off together. And he went off to Greece. And I had just lost my husband and I just lost my mom within about 9 months before. And so Greg came over to Europe and he was in Greece and he fell very, very ill. And I was able, with the help of my client in Saudi Arabia, I was able to get my brother home. I picked him up at the airport, immediately took him to the hospital. And at first he was doing well, and we made the big plan for taking the company to the Middle East. And within 5 weeks, he died in my arms. And I was 65 at the time, and I thought, well, it's over. It's over. It's never going to happen. I can't do this. The world's too big. I'm too small. All that thinking of circumstances, of letting the circumstances. And then one day, it was about this time of year, a friend of mine called me and said, Paddy, I'm going to a vision board workshop on Saturday. Do you want to come? And I actually said, well, I don't even have a vision anymore. She said, come on, come on, come on. So I went, and I decided that I was going to make a vision to bring my company to the Middle East. So that would have been about, I think it was January 4th or 6th, if I recall. And it was very funny because it was all women, and they were young women. And the woman giving the seminar said, now, girls, you have to get your goals all figured out, because by the time you're 50, life is over. I'm like, what do you mean life is over? By the time we're 50, our kids are grown up, we could start doing things for ourselves. So I want a baby, I want a boyfriend. And I just sat there quietly. And then at the very end of the conversation, I said, I would like to add, life really begins at 50. I'm 65, and I'm here to figure out how I can create a vision to take my company to the Middle East by myself. And so that was the first week in January. And at the end of January, I had a phone call from a man in Muscat inviting me to come and speak at the very event where I met Mohammad. And I knew then that we cannot let these tragic circumstances derail us from our goals. We can have a broken heart, and we grieve, and we go through all of that. But as Mohammad said in the story, and as George Bernard Shaw said, it is not circumstances on the outside of us that determine how we will live our lives. We create our own circumstances. We create our own economies. We create our own dreams. And now I travel with my brother. He's still in my apartment in Oman. I just moved. By the way, I had it on my goal card that I had to have an apartment in Dubai on December 31st, 2021. And I moved into this little flat on December 31st, 2021. I made it just by a couple of hours. But I don't have my picture of my brother with me, but he travels with me everywhere because he's still part of the plan. So I just tell you that story, Begum, to encourage you. You'll get that book done, and you are in the right place at the right time. And we are here to show you how to do that. We all determine the circumstances of our lives, no matter if we win the lottery or we lose our best friend, our brother, our husband, whatever, whether we have ourselves or we have 19 people depending on us. We make that determination. That's the gift that God gave us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't want to hold everyone. So
No.
we are almost, we promised 1 hour, we are 20
Yes.
minutes. Okay, so thank you all for your attendance, and let's continue tomorrow, same time, and we will make sure we will finish in 1 hour. Appreciate
Just one question, Mohammad. Would it possible to get the notes of the slides that you showed earlier?
What I will do, I will send you all a recording for today, so you can have whatever notes from it.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you all. Have a great evening, and looking forward to talk to you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. See you tomorrow. Have a good night.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.